afternoon, everybody. My name is Mackenzie Mager. I'm the Associate Program Officer here at Maccabi USA, and it is my pleasure to welcome everybody to our very first President's Forum, moderated by Maccabi USA President Jeff Bukantz. Our first featured guests today are three leaders from Maccabi World Union. Joining us today are Amir Peled, Chairman of Maccabi World Union. Hopefully, Eyal Tiberger will be able to hop on as soon as he can. He is the Executive Director of Maccabi World Union, and Roy Hessing, who is the Deputy Executive Director of Maccabi World Union and CEO of the Maccabiah. Thank you so much, everybody, and especially you three for joining us this evening from Israel, since it is about 8 o'clock in the evening. So we appreciate you taking extra time out of your day to speak with us. And I'd like to now send it over to Jeff Bukantz.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Welcome, everybody. And thank you so much, Amir and Roy, and hopefully Eyal, for joining us today. We're here to talk about everything regarding the Maccabi movement, the Maccabiah Games. But I think before we do that, we're putting sports on the back burner for a second. So Amir and Roy, tell us what's going on with life in Israel during the virus. How are things getting back to normal?
Yeah, I will be the one to do it. There is, of course, a kind of discrepancy between the health situation and the economy one. Talking about the health situation, we do have the feeling that we are after the first wave. It seems like talking about a new ill or number of disease, number of deaths, it's dropping down. We are in numbers of tens a day, talking about a new of those who are catching the epidemic, and talking about 1 to 2 a day, talking about those who are leaving us. And don't forget that the average age, we love all of them, the average age of those who are dead is about 82, okay? So it has to be taken into account. Israel took very tough and strong measures, as you know, quite in an early stage. Probably the first, we are quite an easy country from the point of view of borders. That means the moment that you lock or close Ben Gurion Airport, that means that we are an isolated country because we don't have real other effective borders. And that's one of the things that was done in Israel quite early. It was done by the end of February towards China. And after that, towards the beginning, middle March, we closed almost totally Ben Gurion Airport. The only traffic we tried to reach was Israelis that were stuck around the world, especially in Latin America. And here I can tell you something that part of you know, a beautiful operation that Maccabi did. Because the moment that the airports and the moment that the air traffic stopped in Latin America, thousands of Israelis, youngsters, after the army, mutuleros, stuck in Latin America, no money, no abilities, etc., etc. Israel planned to send special airplanes to bring as many as possible, but of course, we couldn't bring everybody. And by the end of the day, we approached all our Maccabi TOs in Latin America. I'm talking about the big like Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, but I'm talking about Chile and Guatemala and many of those. And by the end of the day, in one day, all of them got into a kind of a structure that they are getting information from us. They are getting information from us, and the moment the information is there, the contact between the mochueleros that are stuck now in Peru, or in another place start to get into effect, hospitality, homes, food, etc., etc. And we have made something that was dramatic for the days that it was relevant, including Pesach time. So, and that's something that you say, yesh Maccabi, yesh Chaverim. When you have Maccabi, you have friends, and the kind of a network like that was established in no time. In about 15 was great. That's probably, so if I finalize it in Israel, the second angle, and the most difficult one, is the economic one. Because for being able to succeed or to believe that we succeed due to lockout, Israel lacked most of the population and the economy stopped. The moment that something like that happened in a small country like ours, of course, it has a lot of effects on individuals, companies, and others. Many of them cannot come back easily to work. If you're talking about aviation, if you're talking about the tourism market, if you talk about restaurants, hotels, and stuff like that, don't forget that we have Kfar Maccabiah. Kfar Maccabiah, I instructed the general manager not to close it due to the fact that we had about 100 Argentinians, youngsters of Maccabi traveling or having educational program in Israel, and we couldn't leave them out, so we opened Kfar Maccabiah for them. But 96% of the Israeli hotels were closed. So the economy, as I said, I don't want to go deep into it because it's something that will take quite a long time, is very complicated now. Effective yesterday or the day before yesterday, big part of the markets are open, including sports, gyms, and stuff like that, with a lot of limitations. So as I say, we are okay from the point of view of the disease, the disease itself, the epidemic. We are bad from the economy point of view. We start to open it, and we believe that it will take few months until we see the light. As you know, like in America and in other places, we are chasing the immunity, we are chasing the medicine, and there are quite big success in Israel. Probably we will be the first one to find the solution to it. One word, Jeff and the friends, about the corona in the Maccabi world. That's made us a real membership and networking organization, because we are aware of everything happening around Jewish Maccabi world. I give you two examples. When our friends in Mexico, and you remember the CDI because many of you have been there summer 2019 or 19. When you have been there, you met the CDI. CDI is run by Maccabi. It's a Maccabi Jewish Community Center. When the leaders of Maccabi there realized by March that the epidemic can be on the way to Mexico without getting, and I say it secretly, without getting permission, not from the municipality and not from the country, okay, they believe that they will have no solution when they need breathing or they need machines. They bought it, they acquitted themselves, and they built a small hospital within the CDI, just for the Jewish community. And that's have been a big success. Every country that I know around the world, talking about Maccabi, many countries in Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Canada, and of course, you guys as well, have been or done things connected to the corona protection, the Jewish population. You are different from the structure point of view. That means that something that we'll discuss. You are the biggest one, but built in a different ways than a community that can take care of the Jewish people around or across the street. But there are beautiful things that are done around our Jewish world, and we are going to collect all of them to one big newsletter that will be sent out to you guys, to everybody, in a matter of a week or two, and you'll see beautiful friendship, partnership, saving people, giving ideas of wellness, sports, and stuff like that during the corona. So finally speaking, Israel is doing quite well. Maccabi is maneuvering. We'll get into the Maccabiah and the decision about postponing the Maccabiah as part of this conversation. I will leave it for later. But normally we are okay. We are concerned, very concerned about the story in America, especially in New York City or in New York area, not only the city, but also other places. You are reflected from our eyes as a huge enterprise, a huge superpower that haven't passed it yet, or quite far away from being behind after that. And of course, we are concerned about you. Jeff, a full answer as much as possible?
That's all you got?
I can go country by country.
Thank you, Amir. That was tremendous. So along the lines, let's segue into the virus leading to the postponement of the Maccabiah. Please tell us, what are the positives that might have come out of that by postponing it a year?
Okay, Chaverim, I want to tell you, and I don't know who will like it or not, I wouldn't allow taking a decision by April or March, by April, the time we took this decision to postpone a Maccabiah due to the coronavirus. I wouldn't allow doing it. I would take few months before taking this decision. The only big and effective reason, by the way, no postponing of the Maccabiah, never postponing Maccabiah, okay? And the only time that Maccabiah didn't come through was during the Holocaust. That means that in Israel from 1950 and first Maccabiah, 1932, after the 35, getting into the Holocaust, no Maccabiah, and from 50 in Israel, no postponing every 4 years, or one time 3 years, we haven't postponed and the Maccabiah took place. So this decision is only due to the fact that we respect ourselves as an international sports organization, as those who are respecting the international calendar. From the history to reality, we always are 1 year after the Olympics. And that will be this time as well. Why? Because if you do it with the Olympics, or the same time, Israelis elite athletes are not there, American elite athletes are not there, many individuals that are connected to Olympic sports, etc., are not there, and you don't identify like we did with you last time, Ervin Ma or
Anthony Ervin.
Anthony Ervin. We don't identify the best Jewish athlete to lead the torch like we did with Anthony last time, and with Ali Reisman 2013. We let those great guys making the Olympics, and the year after that, we have a great Maccabiah with at least 150 international elite athletes taking a part in the Maccabiah. So the only reason, Chaverim, to postpone it is the moment we heard that the Olympics are postponing from 2020 due to Corona to 2021, we took, sadly, not happily, the decision. Now, I'm sitting in a situation of observing the entire Maccabi world. Most of the countries are very happy with the decision due to the fact that it gives them more time to prepare, more time to try out, closing question marks about the corona and how long it's going to be affected, air travel and sports, etc., etc. So most of the world is very happy about it, but I can assure you one thing, we are going to have the best Maccabiah 2022. We have a great team to run it. Roy told you about the story with Ilan Franco. I can assure you that the replacement will be a great one because probably I'm only one on the line because it's my prerogative that knows, almost knowing who is the next one. And you will know it, I believe, sometimes in the next 10 days. But we are going to be prepared. The team is running, keep running. We are making shrinking budget-wise. That means that everybody is getting, those who are paid by the Maccabiah are going to remain by the same payment for the entire period as well. That means that they are not going to get any extras, they are going to get little more each time that we pay them, and by that we'll cover the entire period.
And just to say, as I said before, we are so happy to have the opportunity to keep most of the staff, especially the professionals, as well as the volunteering team. And as Amir said, hopefully in the next few days, we will have the right and the good replacement for Ilan.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to welcome Eyal Tiberger. Eyal, are you here?
You're on mute, Eyal.
Eyal? So, Amir, how important is finally with the elections, the agreement between Benny Gantz and Bibi? How's that going to help the games?
First of all, I have to be fair with the people because not everybody knows that Benny is like a brother. So I will not give you, I am giving you my picture, but I believe that the picture is a kind of an Israeli picture now. You know that today is 500 days of political campaign in Israel without a government. That's something destructive, something that a normal country without corona cannot live with, but we couldn't break the political situation creating a government, okay? After the outcome of the election, 2nd of March this year, it became the kind of deadlock again, while there are half who wants to be with Bibi, the right and the Haredics and the Likud party, and all the others that didn't want Bibi. When we understood, and the corona got into the picture, when we understood in Israel that the almost no way but to go to forced election and probably again to reach the same political outcome, Benny Gantz have decided to do a very, very courageous step. Others, there are some that don't like it. I want to say it out loud, but he have decided that he is going with Bibi as long as there is a kind of expiration days to Bibi's being a prime minister. He wanted to do it as early as possible, but the agreement became one that Benny is replacing Bibi in a year and a half time. This negotiation was very tough, very long, while Benny had to go to a direction that was against his will to begin with. He didn't want to be in this situation, but the country, Israel, was the first one, the first priority for him, and then he has decided to do it. The moment that Benny decided to do it, Yair Lapid, his partner, and Boogie Ya'alon have decided that they are not going with him, and they splitted Kahol Lavan, they splitted a blue and white party, and Benny remained with about 17, 18 members of Knesset, but succeeded to get a contract of half and half with Bibi Netanyahu, from the point of view of numbers of ministers, from the point of view of responsibilities, and from the point of view that in October 2021, at the end of October or the beginning of November, he will be the next Prime Minister of Israel, and hopefully he will be the Prime Minister in the opening ceremony of next Maccabiah.
Thanks, Amir. So I'd like to throw out a question here. It's a generic question, but I'd like to hear your specific answer. What do you view as the mission of the Maccabi movement?
Guys, I don't want to give a lecture, so I believe that I will ask Eyal to do it, and if I have to complete, Roy will do it. Eyal, b'kasha.
So talking about Maccabi World Union, we have a very clear constitution, talks about the definition of Maccabi World Union as a World Jewish Zionist organization, fostering, encouraging sports, culture, education, and social activities. This constitution is accepted by 75 affiliated countries worldwide. The goals of Maccabi World Union the goals are to get the Jewish community involved in Maccabi activities, and through this to develop the dialogue with the State of Israel through our programs to Israel, through our international event, especially the Maccabiah. And as we know, 68% out of the participants in the last two Maccabiot have never been before in Israel. And I'm not talking about 14, 15 years old. I'm talking about 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 years old, that it was their first experience and it changed their lives. So therefore, we believe in the centrality of the State of Israel. We believe that through our activities, we give the participants to experience Israel, to get involved in their Jewish communities, to be part of a big family worldwide, and when needed, to support the State of Israel, as you always did throughout the years. That's our mission, to get our members involved in their Maccabi activities, and through that, with the State of Israel.
Yeah, Jeff, I would like to add few words about it, but I think it's very relevant to you guys in America. We consider to be the biggest Jewish Zionist organization in the entire world, having participation of over 400,000 members around the globe, not including the Israelis. Because in Israel, there are 1 million people connected to Maccabi. Being in this position, we have the ability to be probably the most important network organization. We see it a little bit during the corona, but it's much more than that. We are a family. That means, let's say that there is a need because of somebody that was stuck now in Australia and cannot here and there in a minute. You have a partner, you have a fellow, you have a Maccabi family that is taking a care part, and not only that. Being in this situation, when you have the ability to run a Maccabiah with 80 country participants, you have this ability of connecting those people during the years between Maccabiot. And in every different continent and in every different country, the Maccabi activity is different. We are doing now a lot to have a central Maccabi activities for the entire world. For example, the Fun Run, and FLF is the young leadership organization that is built around Maccabi, etc., not only for sports, but also for education and stuff like that. And one word about it, Jeff and the friends. America is our probably best ally. It doesn't mean that the Maccabi activities in America is satisfactory in our eyes. There are many, many new things that are done with the Shlichim. We'll discuss about it, and with participation and partnership with the JCCA and the BBYO and others. But Maccabi in America is a kind of an anchor to Maccabi World Union. And I have a lot of respect to it. I had it in the past. I have it especially now. I think that you are our best partners, and there are so many things that can happen in America. If we take Israel and America, Jewish numbers, Jewish, the Jewish community, we are talking about 85% of the entire Jewish world. Okay, so you have to imagine and realize, yes, Maccabi want to be in every part of those places, especially stronger in America.
Thank you, Amir.
Amir, I want to add one more
thanks
thing.
for that, everybody.
We are talking about US, but Jeff, I'd just like to add one word. We are talking about US, and we are talking also about Canada. North America, you know, in terms of the Maccabiah, is a major ally of Maccabi World Union and Maccabiah, and we appreciate as well what they are doing for us. I know that some of the leaders of Maccabi Canada are on the line, so I want them to know that we all appreciate their activities as well and their efforts to strengthen Maccabi World Union.
Thanks, Eyal. So just to take a step in a different direction, we're known as the Jewish Olympics, and I served on the International Sports Committee for 8 years, and we decided to allow mixed teams or athletes from multiple countries to comprise a team at the regional games, never at the Maccabiah, but for this upcoming Maccabiah, they're talking about allowing mixed teams. So I just want to know, why is it being done? What's the criteria for comprising the mixed teams? And do you feel that including mixed teams will in any way erode the athletic experience? So I'm throwing that out there to all three of you.
So I will say, and yes, and I just got a message from Anthony Irving, twice Olympic gold medalist, who lighted the torch last time that he's part of the conversation. So if he wants to add something, he's more than welcome, of course. And I'm happy to see so many. Yeah, Anthony just told me that he's part of the conversation, so Tony is here as well. And as you probably know, Maccabi World Union, together with the international board members, we decided to have an eligibility committee in order to make the rules and regulation for the next Maccabiah a bit more flexible, in order to bring as many participants as we can for different sports, and especially to save some sports. We didn't publish it yet because we were supposed to meet during this May in Israel, and then to take our recommendation to the IMC. I do hope that we will continue to work about it with the committee, and the next time that we will meet, we will give you all the answers. My personal view that in specific sports and specific categories, when we want to give the opportunity for the small communities to come and have a chance to compete at the Maccabiah, we should allow it, but that's only my personal view. I do hope that in the next time that we are going to meet, and as Amir and Eyal said before, and they are both, I agree with both of them, we have a great opportunity now with this coronavirus to be more in contact with the international committees, that we have on behalf of Maccabi World Union as well as the Maccabiah. So it's not going to be just the organizing committee of the Maccabiah that will give you the directions or will lead for the right decisions. I think that we should hear each other and we will take the right decisions for the movement as well as for the Maccabiah.
So,
but Jeff,
yes.
Jeff, it's supposed to come from you as well. It's a unique period, and probably the regulation can meet the special period. So if there are special requests that will come from our biggest partner, that means America, we will do whatever that have to be done to try and accept them. So please come out with ideas and we'll try to meet them. And salute to Anthony.
Hello there, Anthony. And along those lines, Amir and Roy, we spoke about this. Because we're moving the games up from 21 to 22, this will affect the athletes who will age out, the 18-year-olds that become 19. So I just want to know if you've made a decision as to how you're going to handle that yet.
So we didn't have a decision yet, and I know that the ISC, the International Sport Committee of the Maccabiah, which I can recognize here a few important members that are part of this committee, I assume that they will give their recommendations to the Maccabiah, and we will take it together with you guys for a final decision. If you want to hear my personal view again, I think that we will move forward with the ages. Unfortunately, we have to postpone the Maccabiah in a year. There will be some people that will benefit from this postponement, and there are that will unfortunately miss the opportunity to be juniors athletes. But that's life, and I assume that will be the right decision. But once again, we didn't take the final decision yet. This is something that the movement, the board of the movement have to approve.
Thank you. So I feel that the mission is to bring Jewish youth to Israel. But as you know, the master's program has grown over the decades, and it's a very big part of Maccabi USA's mission because it enables us to complete our mission by bringing more kids. How do you view the role of the masters at the games?
Roy will give the accurate answer. I would say, Roy, I would say that
no, go ahead.
We do have the dispute. We do have the dispute. I see Maccabiah, Jordi is on the line as well. We do have the dispute always about, to be as close as possible to international regulations, Olympics, etc., etc. I want to say from my end, and I have a position in the movement, I do understand the importance of being flexible here and there to have more, I would say, golf or table tennis, Stuart Weitzman, okay? And we do have to be as flexible as possible to help our biggest partner, especially in Maccabiah, in bringing as many individuals, including, the grandmasters in golf and stuff like that. We did it in the past. I will ask the Maccabiah to do whatever can be done to be flexible and to allow America, Canada, to bring as many masters as possible. If it assists you economically, we will be there for you. Roy?
I would like to add, I think that one, can you hear me? Yeah, so yes. I would like to add to what Amir just said, that I think that in the last two Maccabiot, we gave the right answers and service to the juniors and the open athletes. And in the next Maccabiah, I think that, and of course we will keep doing the same with the juniors and the open. And we felt like the masters are half part of the Maccabiah. They came to compete, but most of them, especially the Americans and the Canadians, did the buying out and were not really part of the Maccabiah. And we decided for the next Maccabiah to have one main city for the master's program, which will include great accommodation centers, as well as great sport venues in a very high level. And as you probably know, we're going to continue for 2022 with our original plan to host all the masters in Netanya. And I think that Netanya, with all the three hotels that are in a very high level, as well as the sport venues, and together with educational or some programs that we are going to build parallel for the sport, we will be able to give the masters athletes a better experience, and they will feel like a part of the Maccabiah as the juniors and the open athletes are feeling or felt in the previous Maccabiot.
It's a great step in the right direction. So Roy, to get back, you mentioned the eligibility committee. One of the sore spots over the years is that some territorial organizations bring non-Jewish athletes, and it's an honor system. It's up to them to be honorable about this. Is there anything new that's being done to try to weed out this particular problem? It's a very sensitive issue to a lot of people.
I affirm that one of the things that we all agreed about it, that the Maccabiah is the Jewish Olympics, and it was, I don't know the numbers at the previous Maccabiot. I don't think that we had many un-Jewish participants from the diaspora. Of course, the Israeli citizens, the Arabic. Ken, Amir?
We had 100, Maccabiah 2017, headed by myself, had 100 participants, non-Jews, out of 10,000. Part of them we knew about, and the other part we knew about them after the Maccabiah. That's the entire story. We have made a lot of balagan out of it. You have to realize, Chaverim, it's as Roy said, those are Jewish games. If here and there is a kind of anti-discrimination rules in a specific country, and the 20 youngsters in Brazil are playing in Hebraica Sao Paulo, and 2 of them are non-Jews, if they will bring them and we will try to avoid it, we will make a big issue in Brazil towards the Hebraica and Maccabi. So they're supposed to be smart enough to find out not to recruit them. And as I said, we are talking about 1% or even less of the participants in the Maccabiah that considered to be non-Jews.
Thank you. So Amir, you're now the chairman of the movement, but prior to becoming chairman, you were the chair of the last 2, am I here? Can you hear me, people? Can you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You were the chairman of the last 2 Maccabiot. At the 2017 games, we had about 10,000 athletes from 80 countries, the biggest ever. The age-old argument will continue in our movement as to whether bigger is better or not. And Amir, I'd like to hear your view on this.
Chaverim, we are a sports competition and in sports competent, you want to be as stronger, as smarter, as faster, etc., etc. But we are the Jewish sports, okay? And not the chance. And you gave the example of those who will miss junior due to the fact that we moved from 2021 to 2022. We do have to give a chance to as many Jewish youngsters to come to Israel to take part in this beautiful, meaningful, you know how it works with you, Israel Connect program, and after that with the Maccabiah. those who are having those 2 weeks to experience, having a lifetime to remember. Don't avoid them from coming. Do your utmost to fill up any kind of sport, and please ask us to give you more rooms to come with bigger. Yes, Jeff, it's very clear to us in Israel, to me, as chairman of Maccabi World Union, bigger is better. We know how to control it in Israel. I think that we prove that we know how to run a Maccabiah in a proper way. For sure, we make a mistake, we make mistakes, but when I compare us to many other operations, sports operation, including waiting for hours in Brazil, in Rio, before entering the stadium, Anthony can tell you about it. Hours and hours in the heat and sun, etc. I think that we do have to give the chance to as many as possible to come, and not always they will be able to come again. Please take it as a kind of a Bible of the Maccabiah. Bigger is better.
Thank you. And you know that Maccabi USA supports that, and we'll send the largest team that we can. You know that every time.
I know.
Roy, I'd like to let's transition. Yes.
By the way,
Jeff.
Yes,
I respect it very much, and you know it. Our relationship, especially personal, with you as the one to run it last time, with previous presidents, etc., are great. You are doing this part of Maccabi USA activity is the best part. As I said before, if in addition to it, you will be able to do many other things that are done in other places, you will be the greatest for sure. Please keep doing the way you do and do it better. Ken Roy.
I just wanted to add, it's not a question about bigger or better. I think that we should try to bring both the bigger numbers and the best athletes, the best Jewish athletes. That was the reason why we had to postpone the Maccabiah in a year and to wait a year after the Olympics. Let's try to bring the top elite Jewish athletes as Anthony, as others for the games. I'm sure, and we will make sure that the Israeli top athletes will take part of and will be a major part of the next Maccabiah as well. And yes, at the same competition, we can have Anthony Irvin, who will swim, I hope he will be in a good shape, less than 50 seconds for a 100-meter freestyle, and a person like me that retired a few years ago that will make it more than 1 minute. It doesn't matter. Let's try to bring the numbers and the best participants.
By the way, the World Championship swimming 2022 is going to be in May. So I think that even Erwin will tell us that that's very good for us.
That sounds great. So for 2022, Roy, what's going to be new at the next Maccabiah?
So as I said before, I will not say again about the Masters. We are looking to add a few more sports, 6 new sports for the next game, and it was part of the preliminary entry forms and entry form number 1, which now we'll have to send again to the world. We're going to have a Maccabi a beach just for the Maccabi sports as a beach football, surfing, skateboarding, climbing, etc., which will be a great experience for the Israelis as well as the participants from all over the world. It all depends on the numbers and the interest from the world, which sports and which categories we are going to add. We will start the process again with the International Sport Committee. We will send again the preliminary entry forms, and we will try to break the records from the last previous Maccabiot, which were amazing, guys. We're talking about 10,000 participants with 42 different sports with so many categories in juniors, open, masters, Paralympic, which is very important for us as well to try to bring and to recruit more participants from the diaspora and to give them the opportunity to be part of the Maccabiah as well. we have another year to make some biggest and more preparations, and to learn some new ideas, and to make sure that we are going to have the best Maccabiah. And I want to say that in this November, we were supposed to host in Israel the Esports World Championship, which we had to postpone as well. But we have the chance to host it in 2021. And I do hope that it will be an exhibition for the Maccabiah as well in 2022. So we continue with our plans. We have another year to get prepared and to make sure that we will meet our ideas. And we need your help, as Amir said, the help from the diaspora, not only the Americans, from all over the world. We need your help in order to recruit those athletes.
So along the lines of preparation, tell me a little bit about your organizing committee. How big is your staff? How many volunteers? How much does it cost to put on the games?
So we have 10 different departments under the Maccabiah chart of for 2022. We have the juniors, we have the airport and transport, we have the sports department, of course, accommodation, logistics, education, HR and volunteers, marketing, IT, finance, and the one new department that we add, it's the pre-camp, which you know better than everybody else, that we are going to run it from A to Z for all the countries that will decide to have pre-camp in Israel. As Amir said before, we're going to continue with all the professionals. I assume that most of the volunteering, the chairman will continue with us. So we are going to continue with our preparations, and I think that we have the luck that we have another year to prepare. I assume that we will have a year less to prepare for the next Maccabiah, hopefully in 2025.
Thank you. So continuing with Maccabiah, one of the things that we've been trying to do is to increase female participation. What's being done for 2022? What can other TOs do? And what support is MWU providing to other TOs to try to make this a priority?
So I'm not sure about the support on behalf of Maccabi World Union. Usually we are trying to support the juniors and the female participation in order to make it bigger. In the last Congress, the ISC decided to add many other categories for the female. And we even decided to split the juniors, which we had only under 18 for the girls, and instead of under 18 and under 16 for the boys. We decided for those sports, especially for the team sports, we're going to split it into 2 age groups. I assume that we are going to continue with it. And hopefully the biggest Jewish communities, as you guys, the Canadians, those countries that are coming from the Latin American countries, will be able to recruit enough girls to participate in both age divisions. And yes, I'm saying here, we are more than open, and we have enough time to convince the International Sport Committee to add more sports and more categories, especially for juniors and girls. And if you have some good ideas, you are more than welcome to send it to me.
Thank you very much. So I just want to ask a question. I throw this out to all 3 of you. What does the Maccabiah mean to Israel socially, politically, and financially?
I will be the first one to answer it. You know, when you run an operation, 85 years, almost every 4 years, it seems like somebody will say that you are over the hill, you know, and why we need it, etc., especially while talking about an event that not the athletes are Ervin, not all the athletes are Ervin, and not all the sports are the most popular one, okay? But the fact is that the Israeli public learn to respect very much the Maccabiah. We know it from governments, we know it from municipalities, we know it from organizations, we know it from sponsors, we know it from the Olympic Committee of Israel, etc., etc. So although we are talking about once in 4 years event, a big one, etc., etc., I believe that we succeed to make it more and more interest to the Israeli public. Don't forget that we are coming much stronger digital. We are getting into the Israeli TV. If we take the opening ceremony of last Maccabiah, it was in Channel 2. Channel 2 is the major commercial one, and we had a very, very, very high level of viewers, and they did it more than once. So by the end of the day, it is interesting. We do have to do a lot to bring people to the fields. That's more difficult, but people are very respect the games. Talking about the economical part of it. So we have to divide between the Maccabiah itself. The budget of the Maccabiah is about 130 million shekels that divided between participants, Israeli government, sponsors, and some other partnerships, tickets for opening ceremony, etc., etc. Then we have to reach the number of 130 more or less. That doesn't include your costs in the diaspora in America for coming to Israel and making your Israel Connect program, etc., etc. But this is the number. So number one, we have to reach it. So economy speaking, the entire Israeli market, due to the fact that there are about close to 20,000 people coming from abroad around the Maccabiah. Many of them are coming from America, parents and others, your special programs, and those who are coming with no program. By the end of the day, we estimate that the income to the Israeli market is about 300 million to 350 million shekel from the Maccabiah. If we are respected or getting the credit for it, I'm not so sure, but I believe that the Israeli government knows it. All the other organizations, including IDF, etc., everybody believes that the Maccabiah is here to stay, should be done. So it's not only a Maccabi World Union and our friends from Maccabi Israel that are taking part in preparation. It's the entire country, one way or another, municipalities, etc., that are taking part in the Maccabiah.
Thanks, Amir.
Jeff?
With the postponement of the games till 2022, will this affect anything else in the Maccabi calendar for the quadrennial?
Eyal?
I don't know if Eyal is still here. Eyal? Yes, he's here.
I think that as far as the schedule of Maccabi World Union, we'll have to reschedule due to the fact that we postponed the Maccabiah. It probably will have to give a thought for the regional games. Definitely for the next Maccabiah, depends on the Olympics, junior games that we plan in Israel. So we will sit shortly and go over the Maccabi calendar and reset it. Also, we'll consider, some great ideas by the various confederations and TOs to host events in 2021. I'm sure that the next 3 years will be filled with Maccabi local, international, and world events. So we'll compensate ourselves on the postponement of the Maccabiah. That's about the calendar. If I would,
I just got
if I would
text message.
may add to the
100
What?
years for Maccabi, Eyal. 100 years anniversary
yes,
of Maccabi.
2021 is an historical milestone in the Maccabi movement. We will celebrate the 100th anniversary of the organization. For all of us, 1921 at the 12th Zionist Congress, Max Nordau announced about the soul in healthy soul in a healthy mind, encourage Jews to get involved in sports. Maccabi was established as an umbrella organization in Karlovy Vary in Czech Republic, and 100 years later, next year, we'll celebrate the 100th anniversary. All events that will be at that year will be under the theme of the 100th anniversary. We are planning also to launch the new Maccabi Museum in Kfar Maccabiah, which will be state-of-the-art. And of course, many other events which will inform you in due course.
Thanks, Eyal. Somebody just texted me a question that, how will this affect the MWU elections at the end of the cycle?
If I remember well, the Congress for elections supposed to be May 2022. I assume that if the Congress is 2 months before the games, we will not replace our regime or will not even re-elect them 2 months before. I believe that we will suggest to postpone the elections, the Congress, to the Maccabiah time, during the Maccabiah. That's mean 2 months after that. That's supposed to be, I believe, relevant. It was in Europe as well. Europe had to have elections, if I'm not mistaken, by August or something like that, and it happened after the games in Budapest and not before. So I believe that we will change it, but it's not done yet.
Okay, thank you, Amir, Eyal, and Roy. I think I'm out of questions, and I didn't see any new ones in the queue. That was really a very entertaining hour and informative. Most importantly, I appreciate your candor. It was great. And before we wrap it up, I'd like to hand it back to Mackenzie. I think Mackenzie wants